Now it's time to press buttons and talk with Manky and ProZD.
We got you on the ropes now. We're gonna drag her. Don't stare at me like that. That's weird. It's not funny.
All of today's, he's away now. I'm backing up. All of today's premeditated events could have only been thought up by you, Ms. You.
There's a lot of effort that went into that. You accuse me of murder on the fact that I spilled a little perfume? That is quite a stretch. See if that holds up in court. Well, allow me to say this much. I couldn't have killed Mr. Faraday.
Would you care to testify as to why?
Look, I've had a lot of fun today, really. But I grow weary of this game of cat and mouse. Let's make this the last testimony and wrap up this absurd case once and for all. Finally, finish up why it couldn't be me. Accusing someone of murder over a spilled bottle of perfume is a bit over the top. But I suppose forgery of evidence is to be expected of a disciple of Von Karma. In any case, it simply could not have been me who killed Mr. Faraday. After all, I don't even know where the knife that used to kill him came from. Do you have some kind of knife in your... Miles, her testimony is flawless.
Yes, but no matter what sort of trick she may try to pull, she won't escape me. And if I'm lacking in information, I'll just draw it out of her.
What could possibly... What could possibly...
Red bubble.
Let's just go to that knife statement.
Hold it!
You sure you don't know?
At this rate, she will inevitably escape. But if she really was the one who killed Mr. Faraday, then she must have known about the existence of the knife. I'm sorry, Ms. Yu. Maybe you weren't aware. However, the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday was taken from his evidence bag.
Miles, what do you think you're doing?
I'm drawing the truth out of her, that's what I'm doing.
Huh? But I don't recall a knife being presented at the trial earlier today.
Tisku, tisku, tisku. Well, I suppose that's because the evidence was something Mr. Faraday had yet to use.
What the fuck are you talking about? So that's what you're trying to do. Look, why don't you cut it out with the lies? I've already figured you out. There was no knife, whatever that even is, inside Mr. Faraday's evidence bag.
I'm so innocent, I don't even know what a knife is.
The only evidence he had yet to present was the key the Yatagarasu had sent, and a key's not a knife. A key can't be a knife. And unless a key can magically turn into a knife, you really don't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
Did you really think you could trap me? Come on now, be honest.
I never intended to do such a thing. It was all a misunderstanding on my part. In any case, I wonder if you might append what you just said to your testimony?
Sure. Why not? I'll even say it as many times as you'd like.
I think you say it 80 times in a row.
There was a key in his evidence bag, but you can't kill anyone with a key. Hey, where's the fucking...
There was
the knife?
No.
Or the...
I guess it's that. It could be that or the key.
Yeah, it changes into it. I think either one would work.
Okay.
Anyway, we have a knife that turns into
Objection! Tisku, tisku, tisku. Ms. Yu, I wonder if you might take a look at this photo for me.
Didn't you just deny knowing that it was a knife?
This is a picture of the key the Yatagarasu sent to the police. However, while it may look like a key at first glance, it in fact has the secret ability to transform into a knife.
I didn't know that until now.
Which means that what was inside Mr. Faraday's bag was both the Yatagarasu's key and the murderous knife. You knew that the key was inside Mr. Faraday's bag, did you not?
Nope. Yes.
Well, with the Yatagarasu's key alone, it's more than possible to kill Mr. Faraday. Do you understand now? Just knowing of the existence of the Yatagarasu's key...
Objection! I'm doing makeup. I do tutorials on YouTube, and they're very popular.
You can look great too.
I still haven't had a good look at it. Showing it to me from that far away, you could be lying for all I know.
You would, even now, still feign ignorance?
I'm not feigning anything. But we can't have you accusing me of a crime with false evidence now, can we? I mean, Mr. Von Karma, I've heard some very interesting rumors about him. They say he's thinking about eating a man. He's practicing for it, but I don't think he'll do it. Are you mocking my papa? He'll eat a man.
Don't you dare sully the good name of my mentor.
He can do it.
Now take a good look. This piece of evidence is more than real.
Wow. Who knew there was such a trick to this thing?
Are you satisfied now? But of course you knew from the very beginning, didn't you? You knew that the knife and the Yatagarasu's key are one and the same. Otherwise, someone like you, who isn't a member of law enforcement and who wouldn't have never have been privy to this trick, would have never known about it to begin with.
Huh.
Furthermore, there's something that the Yatagarasu sent to the police. How did you have knowledge as to what it was?
Actually, I heard it from Mr. Faraday. Just before he dragged Mr. Rell off, he told me. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot. He also told me about the key turning into a knife at that time, so I did know about it. I don't know why I'm claiming that. But he didn't tell me about how the key actually transforms.
Objection! What you are saying is simply not possible.
Huh. Oh? And why not?
Because Mr. Faraday himself didn't know about the hidden knife within the key. For within these pages, he mentions nothing about a knife.
He still could have... Objection! I'm not sure he would have written everything in his organizer, you know. Wouldn't something of this importance be better left to oral communication?
Objection! Unfortunately, that is also impossible. Because Detective Bad didn't know about the knife aspect either. What would have been highly classified information, even within the police force, and is something that even the lead detective on the case didn't know. Why would Mr. Faraday have felt the need to share such information with the opposition?
Why would they? Yeah, I guess he wouldn't have much of a reason to. Looks like I gave a pretty lame excuse, huh?
How can you laugh at a time like this?
She probably just realized a flaw in her logic and is actually in a panic over it. But that's not something we need to concern ourselves with.
I suppose you're right. Ms. Yu, I'd like to state that I also know how you know the real nature of the knife.
Do you now? Well, why don't you put your money where your mouth is and show me?
Oh, I will, and I'll wipe that smile off your face by the time we're through. This is it, the moment of truth. The secret behind the Yatagarasu's key.
That it's a knife?
Only one person would have not had knowledge of it from the get-go. Who would know from the start that the Yatagarasu's key could change into a knife? The Yatagarasu himself?
That's
or
true.
herself?
Real identity's unknown. We don't know who
Take that!
Bari is.
There is only one person who would have known about the dual nature of the key.
And that is? Sorry, it's a baby laugh.
And that is the person who sent the Yatagarasu's key to the police. Tisku, tisku, tisku.
Wow.
That is to say, the Yatagarasu herself.
Silent laughter. Are you saying that this lawyer is the great thief Yatagarasu?
Ms. Yu,
Yagaba.
you used Mr. Rell to lure Mr. Faraday into a trap, didn't you? You who profess to bear a grudge against criminals. Why? Why do something like this?
Who would have thought that you, a stupid rookie prosecutor, would see through me? You're sending the biggest chill down my spine right now, Edgeworth. This feeling of thrill? It's even greater than when I sneak into someplace.
You,
Mimi?
you killed Faraday. Why? Answer me, Callisto Yu.
Callisto you. Huh. That's not my real name, bitch! Because my real identity is, yes, the great thief Yatagarasu. Let me tell you something, Edgeworth. Mr. Faraday was one difficult man to deal with. For you see, he had discovered my true identity, which is why I had to erase him from the world of law. I made Rel an offer, an acquittal for a little favor in return. All he had to do was accuse Mr. Faraday of being the Yatagarasu in court. But once we entered the recess, Rel was dragged off by Mr. Faraday, which threw my plan into a complete mess. I chased after them and eavesdropped on them through a crack in the door. That Rel caves to only two things, money and authority, and Swiss rolls, just as all thugs do. I feared my plan was going to be ruined if Mr. Faraday held on to Rel any longer. Plus, if I had let them continue on the way they were, I would have been found out. That's why I had no choice. I had to kill them both.
She could have very easily just be like, I never knew that was a knife.
Yeah, this argument, like...
But she tripped herself up, but she, like, could have just been like, what? Really?
Well, Edgeworth is like, it is physically possible for you to have, in a convoluted way, murdered them earlier, and she's just like, yeah, okay, I did it.
But didn't you say that you despised criminals?
Showing her the knife was definitely, like, completely tactless.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to, like, lure it out of her, but he's like, you see this key? It's also a knife.
Yeah.
You could easily just be like, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But do I really?
Have you forgotten about the KG8 incident too?
Oh, tell me all about it. Maybe. What sort of woman would...
So then, was it your plan to kill Mr. Faraday with the very evidence that you sent?
Haha. Well, I had a good idea of what Mr. Faraday was going to do. I anticipated that Mr. Faraday was going to prove that Rel wasn't the Yatagarasu by using this Yatagarasu's key as evidence, and that he would bring it with him. Which is why I thought to use the knife portion. With a weapon as well disguised as this, no one would be the wiser. Because who in their right mind would think something like this could be a weapon? I casually entered lobby number 2 on the pretext that I had to talk with Mr. Faraday. And in order to get in with him, I pretended to be worried about something. He then let me hold the Yatagarasu's key just like that. I'm really showing my whole hand now that you've come up with a plausible theory. He never noticed that I had changed the key into a knife inside that plastic bag. And he didn't have the chance to take note of the knife that took his life.
How could you kill him?
With a knife, Jesus. I knew him for a long time, you know? At the very least, I thought to give him a quick and painless death.
But if you killed Mr. Faraday first, there was no need for you to kill Mr. Rel as well.
I believe I mentioned why when we were placing Detective Gumshoe under arrest. Something about having accidentally created an eyewitness, kind of a Joe Dark situation, but less extreme, and how that led the killer to think about setting them up as though they'd kill each other.
Then the trick with the surveillance tape.
Yes, I hadn't actually planned to use a gun. The risk was too high that I'd be caught. However, that's when I remembered the existence of that surveillance tape. Which is why I had Rel help me set up the crime scene. And after all was said and done, I rewarded him for his hard work with a bullet.
You're a defense attorney, aren't you? How could you betray a client?
Client? If you want to talk about who was a client of whose... Wait, what?
Who was a client of whose first?
If you want to talk about who was a client of whose first, it was me.
Question mark?
I was the client in the murder of the Cadopian Embassy staff member Dade Man.
Why? You ordered a hit job?
You still haven't figured it out, Mr. Bad. I had Dead Man killed because, well, first of all, because it's his name, it's kind of his destiny. I couldn't help it. Because he was about to give away info about the smuggling ring. Now, who exactly do you think would benefit from such an assassination?
It can't be. You're...
That's right. I'm a member of the smuggling ring. And the smuggling ring.
What? How could this... You don't mean... You're working with Manny Cochin too, do you?
Maybe. Maybe not. Guess you'll never know. The Yatagarasu claims to be noble, but you're just another cold-blooded murderer. That's right, little girl. The Yatagarasu is just another killer.
Be quiet, you...
Me.
Yatagarasu, you can run from the law, but you'll never escape it.
Maybe the Yatagarasu will escape from the law next time. Or maybe not.
Who knows?
I don't know.